He's Marky D, the new face of YouTube.
Hi guys, welcome to your Friday Impact Wrestling review. We're going to start today's episode with a comment crackdown, just a brief summary of all the comments. So a lot of you liked the string quartet versions, the orchestra version of Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. Well, I'll keep that up. I'll keep up the string quartet covers of contemporary songs. I had a great joke for the end of it. I was going to say, so as you lot liked the Smells Like Teen Spirit version so much, I thought I'd end the video today with another great version by Take That! And I was going to play that, but unfortunately copyright is a real bitch on this video. We'll have to pick another song to play out this video with. A number of you said, you have no right to complain about Impact if you watch it. Well, yes I do. I got this job. I'm very happy to have this job. I was a big fan of Marky D, so it's great to be here on the channel. But that means that I do have to watch it because I'm obligated now to do this review and make this video every Friday. So yes, I will complain about it. And a word of advice I would say is be careful what you wish for. A few of you said you liked the parody of the Barry Scott, not that Barry Scott, that you enjoyed the Barry Scott parody intros, and I learnt last week, literally as I was mimicking him, that he actually passed away in September, so that's sad. R.I.P. He had a great grandeur to his voice and he delivered epic narrations, and watching those videos again, those intros to the TNA pay-per-views bring back fond memories, so R.I.P. to Barry Scott, the TNA God voice. And the comment crackdown of the week comes to Renee Valdez, who came at me with,
"You got completely worked by Tony Khan of all people, LMAO. That whole video was a burial of Impact and its fans. It was Vince McMahon in Memphis, LMAO.
Get out of here and let the door smack you one on your ass on your way, comparing Tony Khan with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon has personality and charisma. Tony Khan is a complete dweeb, and I'm not offended on Impact's behalf that Tony Schiavone had a cup of coffee at Impact Wrestling, then had to quit the business for 18 years. The joke was just cringely delivered and the whole thing completely amateurish. Tony Khan has no business being an on-screen personality, so take your comment and shove it. On to the show. So in an opening recap of Final Resolution, we learned that Manic TJP was able to beat Rohit Raju for the X Division title. Deonna Purrazzo Pole drove Rosemary to retain the Knockouts title. Carl Anderson bested Ethan Page while Kenny Omega watched from his tour bus, making machine gun noises like an autistic child. And Rich Swann retained his championship against Chris Bay. The show opens up with a women's match in slow motion where everything Eddie Edwards' wife does looks so pathetic. Not a good way to start a show. Last week it opened up with Chris Sabin and Josh Alexander, and that was awesome. Mrs. Eddie Edwards just does way too much stuff, and so much of the stuff she does she can't pull off. Tenille Dashwood's bitch saves her from getting jumped on, and though he has ample time to move himself, he takes a splash. Tenille Dashwood picks up the win with a running boot. The match was way too long. It should have been shorter. Eddie Edwards' missus should have had at most 3 things, and the 3 things she did she should have perfected. Sami Callihan appears on the Titantron afterwards to say that their affair isn't over. There's a good promo from the Murder City Machine Guns. Alex Shelley especially, he's always been a good talker. In Kenny Omega's Megabus, they're very annoyed at what was said about Carl Anderson, and Kenny Omega encourages him to go sort the Motor City Machine Guns out. Anderson storms out of the bus into the arena but changes his mind when he runs into the Guns and Rich Swann. Moose comes out to the ring next to cut a promo. It's interrupted by Willie Mack. The two have a scuffle. It's broken up by security. One of the security guys gets decked by Moose, and I have to give a special mention to this security guard with the most ridiculous reaction to the situation I've ever seen. An I Quit match is made off the back of the fact that Willie Mack had a referee decide to end the match on his behalf in their last encounter. Moose also explains he decked the security guy for putting his hands on him when the security guy is just some indie wrestler and he's a star. Chris Bay approaches Rohit Raju about conjuring up some sort of plan, and then we cut to the other paid advertisement from Tony Khan. It's actually quite funny because Tony Schiavone takes some amusing shots at Access TV, but Tony Khan's just a dork.
I could put an injunction in and put a stop to this, but I'm not going to because Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world and this is all great exposure and publicity for AEW.
Shut up and get off the program, you bug-eyed geek. The first video about Eric Young's new direction airs, and then we get to the next match. Chris Bay jumps TJP Manic. TJP does a Spider-Man, then does a vault over the top rope crossbody. There's this overly contrived thing where they duck each other's punches. Chris Bay does a flurry ending in an elbow drop off the middle rope. Chris Bay stays on top for a little bit. Manic's able to counter with his nice catch the leg, turn it into a Saito suplex move. TJP avoids the finesse cutter but eats a drop kick, but he's able to then hit a crossbody and the match ends, I forget how. Rohit was goaded into attacking, and it was hard to pay attention. There was just too much irritating hyperactivity. The Impact flashback moment of the week is Sting making a return and patting Christian Cage's belly. Eric Young seems to have Cody Deaner in a prison, and he's talking about how Cody Deaner is imprisoned and about setting him free. Eric Young's really good at this. He's a good actor and he believes in what he's saying. It's hampered a bit by the editing style they're going for, not really being able to pull it off very well with the budget they have. Nevertheless though, much rather see this than see any more of the Johnny Bravo Who Shot Him mystery bullcrap. There's a nice Rich Swann bio, which is also the trailer for the next special event, Hard to Kill. No, not that hard to kill. In a Knockouts tag match, Rosemary performs like she's completely lost the will. She just stands there waiting for a cue, then adjusts her hair before hitting a spear. Where's the energy? Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly interfere because they have an obsession with women with face paint. Kiera Hogan with the pinfall victory, so her and Tasha Steelz advance. Then backstage they lose their wad of cash when Johnny Swinger tries to hit on them. Brian Myers takes on Josh Alexander in a singles match. Brian Myers does this baseball slide trip to the outside. I like that move. They go on to have a solid match. I'd rather see a match like this where the basics are done well and solidly and it all looks realistic than see a load of spectacular flips but it looks completely bent and unrealistic. It doesn't last very long though, because Ethan Page, who earlier in the match had his head bashed into the post, emerges as his alter ego, the Kung Fu Man, and taps Brian Myers with his toes. To be fair, the follow-up kick is a lot better, but this is the second match that has done this, non-finish, due to someone getting involved making silly faces. Cody Deaner is baptized and set free. Tommy Dreamer advises Ace Romero to go on a diet and prove his partner's innocence. Then he advises Rhino and Cousin Jake to stop crying about their tag team partner's fate and do something about Eric Young and his frowning friend. In the main event, Machine Gun Carl Anderson starts off slow and methodical with Chris Sabin. They wrestle instead of just hitting the ropes immediately and running past each other. Sabin counters a wrist lock by tying together the Ultimate Dragon head nip into a float over arm drag, and Carl Anderson actually reacts to it instead of just charging straight into another sequence. Carl Anderson takes control and works over Chris Sabin with good looking strikes, and Chris Sabin actually sells them. Chris Sabin looks to make a comeback with a tilt-a-whirl, but he gets shut down quickly on the outside. Sabin stunners his way out of a chinlock, but is again shut down by a charging back elbow. Chris Sabin, as Barry Scott would say, endures more punishment. He manages to pop off an arm drag but gets shut right back down with a clothesline. Chris Sabin finally makes a spirited comeback, which he caps off with a crossbody, but it's only a 2 count. They then do a strike exchange that's done well. They're fighting through grogginess. Once in a while they'll get an adrenaline rush. The whole thing culminates after 2 double clotheslines. Carl Anderson manages to hit a spine buster, but he only gets a 2. Chris Sabin's able to catch off a backslide, but he only gets a 2. They then trade waist locks. Carl Anderson gets a schoolboy and a handful of tights for the victory, which makes Kenny Omega do this, whatever this is. There's then subsequently a big schmoz backstage, and after which the Bullet Club, Stan Tool and Don Callis makes a match for the Hard to Kill, that was the one. It's a 6-man tag with the Bullet Club versus Rich Swann and the Murder City Machine Guns. So at least something more significant happened on this week, but in my opinion the whole thing should have been done much better. They had a load of momentum when they first announced on AEW that they were going to appear on Impact. The first appearance should have just been Don Callis, and we shouldn't have even seen Kenny Omega, we should have just seen his Megabus. And then, after seeing the Megabus for some time, and maybe seeing Carl Anderson walk in and out of it, with the speculation that he's talking with Kenny Omega, then during this brawl, Rich Swann gets taken out, and then when the camera pans back and focuses, it's Kenny Omega. He stands with the Good Brothers and they say something like, "Boys, the Bullet Club's back in business." Instead, everyone's just yelling. It's like a drama class with kids on ADHD. Not to say that this was bad, it just could have been much better. It was nowhere near the level of bad as...
Cha-cha! So, if you just...
So overall, much better episode of Impact, for all the faults I've talked about. They have at least given up the Johnny Bravo Who Shot Him storyline, and thank God, that was just terrible. Should have been cancelled sooner, but better late than never. Going forwards, less women's matches please, just use the dependable women. Have Ethan Page and Rohit Raju act more serious. And that's going to do it for this week. Join me next week for some more Impact Wrestling thoughts and a review. Give the video a like, hit the sub button, hit the bell for notifications, and leave a comment. If your comment's stupid enough, it will be next week's comment crackdown. And the outro, as I said, can't do Take That, Smells Like Teen Spirit, so I'll leave you with the other Barry Scott's remix of the Sillet Bang advert. Enjoy.
Hi, Barry Scott here, asking whether you have problems with limescale, rust, ground in dirt. They're a challenge for some household cleaners, but not for Sillet Bang. Sillet Bang, Sillet Bang, Sillet Bang.